As promised, in this movie, I'm going to show you how to use the spiral tool. And then in the next movie, I'll show you how to put it to work. I've saved my progress as angledarrow.ai. It's found inside the 04 line art folder. Just a bit of a word of warning up front here. Just as the line segment tool is the easiest of the line tools to use, the spiral tool is not only the weirdest, but it's also pretty difficult to predict. And I'll explain why that is in just a moment. But it can be made to produce some very interesting effects. Now, just so that we don't have a lot of guides flashing on screen here, I'm going to go up to the View menu, and I'm going to choose the Smart Guides command to turn it off, or I could press Control-U or Command-U on the Mac. All right, now I'll select the spiral tool from my little tool panel, and I'm going to start dragging at this guide intersection right here. 4 horizontal guides down, 3 to the right. And the reason I'm starting there is I want you to see exactly the beginning of my drag. So I'll drag outward like so. And notice by default, I'm creating a counterclockwise spinning spiral. The end point of that spiral is right there on my cursor. So that part's fairly easy. It's the beginning of the spiral that's a problem. Notice that no point on the spiral intersects those guides. So it's difficult to know where to start when drawing with this tool. Fortunately, you can press the space bar as you're dragging in order to move the spiral on the fly. Now, you can do that with any of the tools, the line tool, the arc tool, any of them. It's just that where the spiral tool is concerned, it's an essential trick to know. Also worth knowing, you can press and hold the Control key or the Command key on the Mac to change the decay, as we're seeing here. You can even flip the spiral the other direction if you like, which means that now the inner point coincides with the cursor. However, that doesn't make it any more difficult to predict, and I think it makes it a little harder, frankly. So I'm going to Control drag or Command drag the decay in the other direction. If you want to change the number of segments, you press arrow keys. So press the up arrow key in order to add segments, press the down arrow key in order to reduce the number of segments. And then finally, if you want to flip the spiral so it goes clockwise instead of counterclockwise, you press the R key for reflect. Did you get that? When you're working with the arc tool, you press the F key for flip. When you're working with the spiral tool, you press the R key for reflect. I guess, the spiral tool is fancier or something. I'm going to go ahead and release the mouse button because my finger's getting very tired. And I'll press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac in order to get rid of that spiral. You can also click, just as you can with the other tools, in order to bring up a dialog box. And I'm going to go ahead and restate these values to their defaults, which is a radius of 80, a decay of 80 as well. Segments are by default set to 10. And the counterclockwise option right here is the style. And then I'll go ahead and click OK. And when I do, I'll create a spiral right there on screen. Don't want that, so I'll press the backspace key or the delete key on a Mac in order to get rid of it. Here's what we're going to do. Notice this template layer, which is turned off right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And what it is it's a layer that's set to a reduced opacity so that we can try our hands at tracing these spirals. And we'll do exactly that in the next movie.